or we can start talking Cooley, Nazar.
Yeah, I think Cooley and Nazar start getting in the conversation soon.
I agree, and in that order too.
Oh, you bastard! You absolute
No, but it's
traitor.
True.
It's
listen. He's not a traitor. He's telling the man speaks the truth,
and we hate him for that. I just think Nazar has so much more creativity to his game. Like he sees plays and patterns that just like a Cooley can't visualize, right? And the execution isn't quite there yet, but it will be.
Well, you don't know. See, that's the whole thing. The argument for me would be sometimes that turns into more, and sometimes that turns into confusion at the NHL level, where Cooley's a little more defined in what he does, and then he's a better 200-foot guy too.
He's awesome, but very chaotic, right? This is
yes.
We kind of had this debate, David and I, last night with Philip Nazar. So like Nazar is very much this player who, unless he has an advantage, he's not going to really kind of try to get the puck to the inside, take a puck from the perimeter to the middle. And Nazar is get to the middle at all costs, and I don't care if it means that I'm going to turn it over. I don't care if it means that I'm going to worsen the ensuing play. I really honestly, I've really come to appreciate Nazar's improved playmaking this season. Last season, he was looking for his teammates, but it's only after he beats someone, which is a problem. Like his first instinct, okay, beat a guy, and then I can make the next play. He has to diversify that mindset a little bit. On top of that, you're also getting a lot of physicality. It's the same thing with Nazar. Like Nazar, well, he's not like a great inside player. Like he's physical. He knows how to trap feet. Nazar is even better at that. Nazar will run people over. He'll get them on his back. He'll use his bottom hand to keep them there. And he's great at sealing off back pressure or just anything in general. He's good at just keeping it on his back. He can really overwhelm players. So with Nazar, it's all projection, right? Like you're hoping, okay, good stick handler. He has some awareness of his teammates. He can shoot it and find space off puck, and he's very physical. How can we turn this sort of natural athleticism and skill into sort of a refined NHL game?
Well, here's a good example that I would use, not positionally, but that type of player. Like Jake Voracek's never lived up to his potential because he does all of those things and he's never refined it. And that's why the Flyers got rid of him. And he's still always going to score points, but he's never going to really reach his potential.
I had some doubts about his defensive game at first, the Nazar that is, but I think it's more of a strength now with more viewings. Yeah. And it's exactly what Mitch said. It's really, if you start scouting more, if he actually thinks about passing more, could he turn into a much more effective player than Cooley? Probably, because he has the tools, large skating, handling, physical skills, even passing skills to an extent.
Cooley has better acceleration, though, because I feel like he has better acceleration.
And I think that Nazar has better tools across the board than Cooley, but Cooley is much smarter. It's the same. Cooley is the same type of player as Wright and Kimmel, just a lesser version. It's all about connecting plays, being in the right spot at the right time, taking passes, moving them quickly, repositioning inside space, and he's smart about the defensive game too. His decision making is really great. He doesn't force passes. He hits the best play quickly. He has some playmaking skills. He's aware. He has deception, anticipate rotations. So he's really smart, but I don't know about his overall tools.
I really like how Cooley kind of employs his skating to Russ's point. Like I think, I think the skating's probably pretty comparable between him and Nazar. It's probably a wash and it's close enough. But I do think Cooley's just kind of smarter in how he goes about it. Like he doesn't necessarily have to force an inside cut and try to get a shot off or a pass to the slot. Like he's patient. He'll wheel around the zone. He'll take the back of the net if he needs to. He's strong. He's still really strong, even though he doesn't necessarily, finish his hits as Nazar does on everybody. But I do think like you said, Cooley just kind of has a little more poise and a little more restraint on kind of when and when not to pull the trigger. And he's a good enough skater that when there's an opening to the middle or when a defender crosses over the wrong way, he can expose them still. But at the same time, he kind of has the restraint to, cut back, escape, find a high guy, things like that, where Nazar is a little more kind of north-south. Like if it doesn't happen on this rush, it's not going to happen at all.
The one thing I'll give Nazar over Cooley is he has a knack for finding loose pucks all the time in the offensive zone. He pounces on them.
I think his off-puck timing, too, is better than Cooley's. It's probably some of the
his timing is
I've seen. Like he
phenomenal.
He navigates I think Cooley, like, don't get me wrong, Cooley does a good job of it. Like, Cooley finds little spaces and stuff like that. Like, he's not bad at it, but Nazar is so good at like supporting the puck close, and then he's got kind of the small area skills too. That when he gets it with limited time and space, he can kind of find the next guy, or at least you kind of see where he's. You see the thought process behind it, even if, like we talked about, the execution isn't.
One of the biggest differences between them, right, is that they both have those off puck instincts, but Cooley uses them more to be in the middle of the action, and Nazar uses them more to be at the end of the action. Like, Nazar uses that to be able to get into pockets of space to fire off a shot. Cooley uses them to be more of a give and go playmaker.